Awesome. So three, two, one, and welcome back to the 1760 sessions where we talk to founders and creators who are building systems with soul. I'm Harry, as you already know, from 1760 Strategic AI, and today I'm joined by the fantastic Kelly Calkins, founder of Wellness Warriors Care, a holistic health practice helping clients heal from the inside out through integrative root cause medicine. After speaking with Kelly already, she's built a loyal community across continents. You know, she has clients in the US, clients in Singapore, a client in the UK, I believe, combining science, spirituality, and personalized care to help people take ownership of their well-being. Today, we'll talk about her journey as what we like to call, as you know, a solopreneur, the systems behind her practice, and how technology can help her scale impact, without losing her amazing personal touch. So Kelly, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me here. I'm excited for this conversation and to pour into your audience.
Awesome. So the big question that I always like to start off with, what inspired you to start Wellness Warriors?
Almost dying would be the short answer. I I ended up moving through childhood with a lot of things that I look back that I thought were normal that weren't normal. Being really, really underweight. Everyone thought it was so cute that I was so little. I graduated high school at 94 pounds, which is clearly not normal. I had a lot of bowel issues as a kid. It was just the way my body was. And then by the time I got married and started having kids, I really, really had a lot of issues. I was having low-grade fevers every night. I felt like my bones were twisting in my body. I was gaining weight. I would walk into a room and have no idea why I was there. I was having changes to my hair, skin, and nails. And every time I went to the doctor, they told me, oh, you're just a little anxious. You're just depressed. And I really kind of got gaslit. And by my 29th birthday, actually 3 days before my 29th birthday, I went in for an emergency hysterectomy because they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. Didn't recover from that. Ended up having an additional surgery. And then about 6 months after that, they figured out I had autoimmune. So they told me in a voicemail that I had an autoimmune disease. And within 6 months of that phone call, I had multiple autoimmune. I ended up with 6 diagnoses altogether, which was, it was frustrating because they kind of presented it to me like, well, this is the hand you've been dealt. Now you have to deal with it. And something deep inside me just thought, no, there has to be a reason this happened. So I started doing my own research.
So what was it in your own research that kind of changed everything?
Yeah, great question. So I was an IT engineer in my previous career. So I've got this weird brain that's very analytical and loves to digest data. So I started reading medical journals and devouring them. And the thing that was driving me at that moment in time was I looked like I had a stroke. I couldn't see out of my right eye, and the whole right side of my face drooped. And nobody could tell me why. So I started researching. The very first thread was, why would someone's eye droop and they lose vision? And it was like stress, lack of sleep. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so far past this. So I kept rabbit holing, and I found one little piece of a thread that talked about inflammation. And I have the gift of discernment. So I was like, that's the right thread. So then I started really diving into, well, what causes inflammation in the body, and learned that there's this huge connection between what you put into your body in terms of thoughts, nutrition, movement or lack of movement. All of these things can create inflammation. So then I just really started focusing on how do you heal inflammation? And it changed everything. I ended up quitting my career as an IT engineer, going back to school, getting board certified in holistic nutrition. Um, and I walked back my autoimmune diseases, which they told me wasn't possible. So it just raises the question, what else do we think is not possible just because we've been told it's not possible? But it doesn't mean it actually is impossible.
So that is an incredible story, and it always takes self-discovery and research to uncover these sorts of things, especially with the inflammation. What did you do to treat the inflammation, and how have you used that information to help others?
Yeah, so what I learned really quick was inflammation is as personalized as your fingerprint. So what I do is I do really comprehensive gut testing so I can look at where is inflammation being created in the digestive process with the foods that we eat and what's happening in the gut microbiome that's allowing inflammation to knock over the dominoes or the organs and the systems in the body. So everybody's root cause of why is there inflammation is really as personal as your gut microbiome. So once you actually can see that, it's like a blueprint, and you look at where are the breaks in the body, where are the imbalances, and then because of my education, I know what nutrients bring those gaps bridged. And then the body, man, is it intelligently designed because it wants homeostasis. So when you can give the body what it actually needs, it comes back into balance on its own. So you don't even have to fix all the problems in your body. You have to really look at what are the big things that are at the root of all of it, address that, and then the rest of the body comes into coherence, which is beautiful. So that's what I did for myself, and that's what I do with my clients, is I really look at this is what is happening, but why? And why is this happening? And why is this happening? All the way back until I'm like, there it is. This is where it all started. And then that's where we start.
Okay, wow. I think I mentioned to you previously on our other call about how much I'm now learning myself about the gut and how important it is to actually look after the gut and get the gut right, because it impacts so many other parts of your body.
Every other part, truly. Yeah.
Yeah. Even into your brain power.
Yes, the gut-brain connection is a real thing. I have seen people misdiagnosed as bipolar, and it was a bacterial imbalance in their gut.
It's incredible. I know this could be, I haven't bridged this with you yet, but this could be a very basic question. I know ways to look after my gut, which I call kombucha, kefir, and there is kimchi as well. Are these a myth buster, or what are your thoughts on this topic?
It's a yes and, because everyone's digestion is unique. So all of those things are fermented foods, which are fantastic. 1 tablespoon of fermented food has more probiotic and prebiotic in it than a bottle. But if you have a problem with your DAO enzyme or with a histamine intolerance, those foods will make you feel miserable. So there really is truly no healthy food or superfood or miracle food across the board, because if you have any kind of genetic SNP that messes with how histamine hits your body, if you have those foods, you are going to feel your worst. So it really just depends on the gut. Now, if you have good DAO enzyme in your gut, if you don't have any histamine issues, if you tolerate fermented foods, you are giving your body the building blocks it needs for a healthy gut microbiome. But if you don't tolerate those foods and you put it into your body, it will cause more damage. It's not like, oh, but it's still doing good, I'll push through it. It will wreck your gut because your body, your digestive system specifically, doesn't tolerate it. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but there's 2 questions going on in my mind. How do you uncover if it's doing badness or if it's good for your gut? And then secondly, is it one of those things where it's a consistency thing? It's only effective if you're consistent doing it.
So let me do the first question. How do you know? There can be subtle little symptoms. So when we have these types of responses in the body, sometimes we don't notice them until they accumulate to a certain point. Sometimes it can feel like something totally unrelated, like your nose is running a little bit more, or you're sneezing a little bit more often, or you're itchy, and you're never gonna take it back to what you ate 3 to 5 days ago. Or it could change your bowel formation. You might have looser bowels or more frequent bowels, and you think, oh, it's stress or it's this, but you don't tie it back to it being a fermented food. You could start feeling inflamed or bloated. You will never tie it back to that because there's too many other things it could be. And the second part of your question was, is it about consistency? Everything is about consistency, But the truth is, something is better than nothing when it's the right thing. Does that make sense?
It does. I'd have to hear an example. So, what do you mean? Something. If you could just repeat that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So that something is better than nothing when it's the right thing. So, say you're taking a multivitamin that is right for your body and
Yeah.
it's bioavailable and it's in therapeutic range and it's fully absorbable, and that it's in its active forms, its methylated forms. Even if you don't take that multivitamin every day, if you take it 3 times a week, you're getting a shot of nutrients that otherwise your body wouldn't have. So it will
Okay.
still thank you for the little bit that it gets.
That makes complete sense. Um, so moving forward, I'd like to ask you maybe what it's like running a business as a solopreneur. You built your practice mainly through referrals and great relationships that you have. What's been the key to creating that trust and word of mouth growth?
Authenticity and transparency. I
Okay.
I really am a relational person, and I think because I went through my own crisis, my health crisis, and I never try to position myself um, like everything is perfect, because perfect isn't real. Perfect is an illusion and it's not sustainable. Even if you like touch on perfection, it will break you because it's not real. Where everything is about sustained progress. And when it comes to our health, health is not a destination, it's a journey. So when I'm speaking with someone who seeks me out, it really becomes not about let me fix you. It comes down to I get it, I've been there. Thank you for allowing me to come alongside you and support you as we walk through this till you get to a place where you feel stable and confident enough to just continue on your own and then use me as a touch point if needed. So, just having that perspective, kind of like we're all in this together. We're living in a world that's highly destructive in terms of food, stress, all of it. It takes a tribe. Do you know what I mean? So I am always supporting my health and using the tools that I teach my clients because it's a way of life. It's not just something you do for 30 days and then you just step back into the broken patterns.
It's about the incremental changes by the sounds of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, everything I do is about small sustainable shifts that lead up to transformational results.
Have you ever read a book called Atomic Habits?
I have, yes.
Where it sounds almost similar to that in some sort of way, where if you can change something you do on a daily basis by 10% for the better and do
Yes.
that across the board and consistently, you're going to
Mhm.
see a huge change over time. But it's not like you can change things instantly.
Correct. And we've really been brainwashed by our diet industry, which is a multi
Yeah.
billion-dollar a year industry, to think it's all or none, right? Like, not that Whole 30 is bad, but Whole 30, if you have a regular diet, can feel like a big change. You don't need to overhaul your entire life. You need to just start making changes that move you towards the goal you want to go. And as you make those little changes, you start feeling better and functioning better. And then you've got the bandwidth and the resilience to make more changes.
Exactly. And it's about getting that balance early, specifically as you keep saying, like there's so much to balance as it is, to then just throw something that's going to completely change won't work at all.
Yeah.
To that front, you are running this as a solo operation, which means you are wearing a lot of hats yourself.
Yes.
So you're not only are you a practitioner, you're a marketer, you're an operations lead. What's been the toughest part of that balance for you, do you think?
Remembering that the most important thing I can do every single day is fill my cup before I even step into my office, truly. If I get caught up in all the things that I need to do before I fill up my cup, I end up losing perspective. I end up working too many hours. I end up losing balance in my life. And that's probably the most destructive thing that any solopreneur can do. You have got to take care of yourself first. And then
Okay.
what I do is my top 3 things every day that have to get done today. And then I look at what is something I need to do to move the business forward every day.
What were your top three things today then?
Well, really assembling the rest of the packets for my retreat. So
Amazing.
I put together, because it's a healing retreat, so it's about a sacred remembrance of what our true identity is, not the identity that this world assigns to us. So I wrote out this beautiful remembrance and oath about owning our true identity. I did that. And I'm also I'm developing, I do a lot of muscle testing, kinesthetic muscle testing for stuck emotions, stuck belief, stuck patterns, stuck wounds in the body. So I have put together a resource that I'm rolling it out at my retreat. And I had
Amazing.
a client volunteer, and I just, before jumping on here, did a session with them using this, and it was profound. So this is something to move the business forward. The retreat things are the top three things that have to get done
Yeah.
today because I leave tomorrow. So it's simple things like that, but it's effective in real life.
Do you want to give a quick overview of your retreat for any listeners out there?
Yeah, sure.
It's very exciting.
Yeah. So we're going to Sedona, Arizona, which is just a very high energy, beautiful place, sacred red rocks. And it's called the Sacred Return Retreat. And we are calling women specifically home to remember who they are and to reclaim their wholeness and their sacredness, because this is not a man bashing thing, but we live in a world that kind of strips sacredness away from women and gaslights us and kind of makes us question ourselves. And we go through our
Yeah.
lives and we don't really feel whole. And the same is true for men, but it lands different for women. So we have a remembrance ceremony. We have a fire ceremony to let go of what no longer serves us. We have a water ceremony to wash away and renew what we want to call in. I do connecting with the creator work, where I do healing, like physical healing prayers with creator energy. We're doing the kinesthetic testing to release the stuck energy in the body. And I'll actually be teaching 5 different modules on PTSD in women, nutrition for fueling and sustaining health, sleep, um, mindfulness and awareness, whole self healing. So it's very well rounded. It's all things wholeness.
It sounds amazing, and it sounds like you are starting to build a big community around this, and a
Yeah,
chance
appreciate it.
for
I feel
not
blessed.
only for you to give your education on to other people, it's obviously going to be a good chance for women to connect as well. Are you going to do anything around building the community out from this?
Yes, so I've got it set up to support the retreat community for the next month, and then a check in at the 6 month mark. And then I have multiple layers of community in my practice. I've got monthly community, I've got weekly community, and then I have some people that, in addition to that, will work with me one on one as well. So I've tried to build out a practice that can meet you where you are at the level that you are looking for.
Okay, so you're going to need to obviously keep drip feeding content to a lot of people,
Yeah,
to kind of keep that community and sense of connection
yeah.
alive.
The power of
My next piece,
automations will save your bacon as a solopreneur.
that's that's what we were about to jump into.
Yes.
So your practice runs on relationships, but lots of moving parts, as we just spoken about, drip feeding that content, intakes, supplements, event communications. Which
Yeah.
parts of those are already systemized, and what are you kind of relying on doing yourself personally at the moment?
Really, the only thing I rely on myself for at this point is scheduling my one on one clients, scheduling incoming clients. I mean, and building my newsletter. I write my own newsletter because I pour
Yeah.
into it, but I schedule it. Until uh, December of last year, I did not have any kind of a platform that let me automate anything. So going from doing everything myself to having funnels and automations and workflow drips, it was a game changer. It was upfront work, but the upfront work, man, does it pay off. Like once it's built, it is built, and then you can just clone it, tweak it, use it for the next thing. It's been amazing. So I
So,
have very little that I am manual effort still, which is nice.
so what are you using at the moment in terms of systems?
So I'm using a platform called String Connect, which is geared towards nutrition and wellness professionals. So it's a little bit tailored to um, the types of things that would be in our scope. And it integrates with my HIPAA compliant platform, which is really nice. They speak to each other.
That's the main thing these days when it comes to automation, is making sure that any part of your technology is talking to another part of your
Yes.
technology to keep everything and systems
Yeah.
organized. So it sounds like you are incredibly upskilled in this, and it's very, very positive to hear, because I speak to people at the very beginning of this journey, and I speak to people at the very end of this journey. Um, what does the next 5 years look like for Wellness Warriors?
Um, Exciting. I see a lot more one to many services, because the more I do this work, the more I see how much women are settling, and they don't know that they're settling when it comes to quality of life and quality of their health. And there's so many women carrying stuck emotion and stuck energy, men as well. But from the time we're little girls, women are kind of conditioned that we're the glue that holds it all together, that it's like we carry it all, right? And I mean, my youngest son is that way too. It's not that men aren't that way, but it's a very intentional process with women. And it's no wonder that women are 7 times more likely to end up with autoimmune than men. And it's because we carry all of this stuff and we're not actually taught what to do with it. Like growing up, if young Harry had something that hurt his feelings, at some
Yeah.
point someone would say, get over it. Or is that still getting at you? They wouldn't say, well, let's talk about how we can honor what we're feeling and allow it to move through us so that it doesn't get stuck in us. No one talks like that. We're just taught to deal with it or to get over it or to suck it up, right? It's,
Yes.
yeah.
Big
But
time.
that energy stays. Like in Chinese medicine, the root of all dysfunction in the body is love pain, which is stuck emotion.
So, apart from the next 5 years, look, you've got some amazing things going on. The retreat sounds absolutely fantastic. The courses, digital courses you're building, the partnerships you're creating. Um, just as my final question, if you had unlimited resources, what's the next dream project for Wellness Warriors? If you could launch it tomorrow?
That's a good question, because I have so many
Yeah.
things that are
Sorry.
in my head, always cooking.
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
then I think what my next three things, I really want to focus on rolling out more challenges. So people who maybe aren't ready to tackle health yet, they might just, like in January, I'm about to build out a 4 week blood sugar reset. So people are going to go through the holidays, they'll be drinking, eating foods that aren't quite normal, they're more decadent, and by January their blood sugar will be trashed. So for 4 weeks they can go through self-paced modules to show them why they're feeling the way they're feeling and what to do about it, and then give them recipes that are very easy that they can just implement. So I think
This sounds
tangible little
amazing.
challenges like that, where
Yeah.
it's no pressure. The last thing people need is like something else to show up to. So if I can create things that you can get in your inbox, you can
Digestible.
digest it.
Yeah,
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 you
yeah,
can
yeah.
digest it and apply it, and there's no pressure.
It's
So that's one of my top three things for sure.
so relatable for this upcoming period. It's Christmas, and there's also, you feel obliged to do a lot of things, and
Yep.
it'd be great if in those, this idea that you have, you could introduce encouraging people that they don't have to do everything.
Yeah.
I think these are, it's a kind of time where everyone indulges, and the bit you said about blood sugar, I've already been indulging, and it's not even into December yet. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd love to have some research to help me that would
Yeah.
keep me on track and be like, Harry, you
But
don't have to do certain
I
things.
don't think people realize that stress affects your blood sugar as much as diet
Yeah.
too. And there's a lot of stress in the holidays because the calendar gets full and there's obligations, and sometimes family comes together that maybe doesn't come together and they don't get along great, and it's a lot of
Yeah.
boundary issues.
This is why I'm disappearing to Thailand for Christmas.
It's not a
But
terrible idea.
no, it's not so bad. But look, Kelly, that's fantastic. I'm really excited to see Wellness Warriors grow, and I'm fascinated by the story. And I would love to get you back on the podcast post retreat, understand how everything went, and we can start to build from there. But Kelly, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much for having me, and I would love to come back and have another conversation with you.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Kelly.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day, Harry.
And then scene. Kelly, that was amazing. Really, really thank you for coming on board. I'm going to stop recording now.